What's happening around the world and what's happening here at home? A very good evening to you. This is Weekend Primetime News and I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Before we get into our stories in detail, let's take a quick look at your headlines.
President Sirisena to visit Germany next month. A Sri Lankan head of state extended an official invitation for the first time in 42 years. Prime Minister makes a special statement on constitutional reform. Juvenile driver at the centre of accident which claimed 2 lives remanded. Wells affected by oil leaking into the Nilwala river. Decision on alleged match fixers tomorrow. A statement from the new SLC president.
The 5-year plan for the Pibidemu Polonnaruwa District Development Project commenced under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena today.
The road system in the Polonnaruwa district is to be redeveloped under this project. Construction work on the Polonnaruwa Town Ring Road commenced today. There are various views on the development of roads in our country. There is critical environment. When the former president visited the agrarian community in Polonnaruwa in 2013, he bemoaned the state of the roads. I said at the time that roads are being rebuilt in many districts in Sri Lanka except here. At the time, I did not imagine that I would become the president of the country and that I would have the opportunity to rebuild the roads in Sri Lanka. I look at the entire country with a singular vision today. A priority in national development is ensuring balanced development among the districts. Some ask what the government has done in the year that it has been in power. I wish to remind you that none of the heads of state who were elected in the past accomplished this in their first year. J.R. Jayawardena was elected in 1978 and in 79 he had not accomplished what he eventually did in 11 years. The same applies for the others too. Those who question what the government has done should not be troubled. The support that has been extended to us from developed countries around the world is truly amazing. I will be travelling to Germany next month. For the first time in 42 years, a head of state from Sri Lanka has received an official invitation to Germany. No matter how much certain persons within the country are criticizing us, we have the blessings of the world.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe made a special statement at Temple Trees today on constitutional reforms. We are implementing a program which requires not only 2/3 majority but also cooperation from referendum of the entire nation. One of the requests that Sobhit Thera made in his final meeting with President and I, following the general elections, is that we establish a constitutional assembly. The President made a statement on this on the day that he passed away, and now we are implementing this. After we presented this, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party submitted amendments. The United National Party said that they have no proposals. Several other parties had noted that they wish to submit proposals. We are ready for amendments. If 2/3 are prepared to do this, then it can be put to the cabinet. At present, a major campaign is being run through the media claiming that this cannot be done. Former Minister G.L. Pires has become the face of this campaign. I wish to ask who is asking Devadatta to sing the praises of Lord Buddha. Some say that the unitary nature of the state and that the position of Buddhism will be lost. There needs to be 2/3 majority for this, and we have not even discussed it. We do not want to do away with the unitary nature of the country or anything else. Who is carrying out this campaign? It is the people that wanted to bomb the temple of the Tooth Relic and the people who brought major casinos to the country. I am a Buddhist, I am a Sinhalese, and I want to unite the country. For the first time in the world, we are using social media as a tool in amending the constitution and to draft a constitution. The proposed procedure for constitutional reforms was criticized by opposition MPs at various media briefings held today.
The whole country is aware that amendments could be made to the constitution through parliament. This power is vested in parliament as the legislature. The proposal has been put forward to establish an institution outside parliament. There is no need to draft a major constitution. A single article or a single bill can be introduced. We in the opposition are in favour of abolishing the executive even tomorrow. There is no need to drag this on. The government is now attempting to gather public opinion on a new constitution. The 18th Amendment was put forward, the 19th Amendment was put forward, the 20th Amendment was put forward and then withdrawn. Now they have let go of all that and are introducing a new constitution. Now everyone is circling around this. We will not approve this no matter who is in favor. We will design a new political front.
No,
that is a stale story. That is not the new one. Listen to the recent story. There is a clue in it. He says clearly that a new political front will have to be created if this continues.
Meanwhile, a transcript of a recent speech on proposed constitutional reforms by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Abhirama Vihara was released to the media today. The communique notes that according to the proposal for a new constitution presented by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe last Saturday, had made provisions to abolish the executive presidency and to make electoral reforms. Mahinda Rajapaksa in his lecture had pointed out the need for cooperation to attain this objective. The former president also noted that the SLFP cannot oppose the proposal to abolish the executive presidency as the party had always assumed the stance of abolishing it. As per the current constitution, there are 11 articles that cannot be amended in the absence of both a two-thirds majority of parliament and a public referendum. The former president points out that many people have suspicions that these could be changed at once through a new constitution. Speaking at an event in Lunugambehera today, Minister of Housing and Construction Sajith Premadasa commented on the proposed constitutional reforms.
රටේ ජනතාව ලොකු පිපාසයකින් සිටිනවා.
The people of the country are anxiously waiting for a new constitution, a constitution that is accepted by the general public, which gives power to the people and which protects their democratic rights, the freedom of speech, the freedom to reprimand any political party, the freedom to believe in any religion they desire, freedom to travel wherever they please, the right to create an era free of child abuse, and the right to stand against the abuse of women. To do any of this, my dear friends, we have to give power to the people. So, my dear friends, you now know why this so-called joint opposition or the joint destruction is so worried about this.
ඇයි මෙච්චර කලබල වෙන්නේ කියලා?
The event was held to West of Water project in the new town of Lunugambehera to the public. The JP made a scathing criticism on the actions of police officers at an event held in Galle today.
Speaking at the Galle District Conference of the Socialist Youth Front, JVP MP Bimal Ratnayaka made the following statement. You are aware that a youth named Sumit Prasanna was killed as a result of the oppressive actions of the Amilipitia police simply because they did not get the arrest they wanted. It is very clear that this murder occurred as a result of the intervention of the police. They murdered a young man and are making various excuses now. That youth was murdered and his unborn child and young wife have been made destitute. Is the behavior of the police media spokesperson and the police department just? No. When there is no justice in the country, it is painful to live there. A young woman was murdered in Kotadeniyawa and then the police arrested and harassed all the young men in Kotadeniyawa.
Have we forgotten?
Seya Sadumi reported missing in Kotadeniyawa on the 11th of September 2015. It was confirmed 2 days later that the young girl had been raped and murdered. A 17-year-old schoolboy and a 35-year-old man, both neighbors of the victim, were arrested in connection with the murder.
The basis for arresting the two individuals was their account of their actions on the night in question. There were disparities in their statements and we discovered pornographic images on a laptop belonging to one of the suspects. The girl's photograph was among the images on the laptop. We believe that the court will take appropriate measures regarding these two persons. The individual known as Kondea, who was arrested along with the school student, was portrayed as the main suspect in the murder by the police, but a short while later, the police arrested Kondea's brother.
After testing DNA samples, he was confirmed as a main suspect in the case. 17-year-old schoolboy acquitted by court as a result of the failure to match his DNA sample.
I shared a picture of Seya on Facebook after the murder. That is why I was arrested. I was beaten in a way that a schoolboy should never be beaten. The police took away the chain and 2 charms I wore on my neck and they have not returned it. This individual has not been arrested in line with the provisions of law. It was made clear through the CID's report today that the Kotadeniyawa police have done this by compiling reports and obtaining orders by misleading the court.
The schoolboy lodged a complaint with police headquarters following his release, seeking an inquiry into the assault that he was subject to. A resolution on this matter remains unknown. The student's mother claims that the boy has been made to abandon his education and is also facing disrepute in society.
We have not received any justice. His psychological condition is very low. My son is sitting for his A-levels, but we are yet to receive justice for the incident he faced. It will be good if something is done to restore his mental state.
The student's life was severely affected due to the unlawful and baseless procedure employed by the police when taking the student into custody. This caused a massive and severe impact on the 17-year-old student's school life, social life and his education. This is something which cannot be reversed. Therefore, we believe that this is a matter which should be discussed urgently.
Have we forgotten?
It was discovered today that the driver of a car which ran over and killed a mother and daughter in Demotoda last night was only 15 years old.
She is a person who usually buys food and goes home. She was run over on the crossing line after she had crossed nearly 3/4 of the road.
Don't show off your wealth just because you have money. That is all I can say. The accident occurred at about 9 p.m. yesterday. A 47-year-old woman and a 10-year-old daughter who were crossing the road at a pedestrian crossing near a level crossing on the baseline road were killed in the accident. Area residents claim that both mother and daughter were dead by the time they were taken to the National Hospital.
This is an unfortunate incident. It was revealed during inquiries that the driver was a 16-year-old schoolboy. This is an unfortunate situation. Such incidents have taken place in the past when the parents are negligent and allow minors to drive without any driving license and put the lives of pedestrians at risk. We have to take action to put stop to such incidents. We will take strict legal action not only against the student who was driving this vehicle but also the adult who let him drive it. Likewise, I request that you do not provide a vehicle to anyone who does not possess a driving license. Parents must also realize that if they give vehicles to underage children, they will end up in a prison cell.
The 15-year-old schoolboy was said to have driven the vehicle and his mother were produced at the Colombo Magistrates Court today. It was ordered that the mother be remanded until the 25th of January and the son be remanded until the 29th of January.
The induction of the President of the Sri Lanka Medical Association for the current year was held in Colombo yesterday.
Dr. Iyanthia Bevikrama was inducted as the President of the Sri Lanka Medical Association.
According to the National Council for Road Safety, 2,538 deaths occurred due to 2,360 road accidents during the 11 months of last year. Of these, 760 died due to motorcycle accidents and 726 were pedestrian casualties. It is no secret that we experience severe traffic congestion in the city every day. The number of vehicles on the road have grown exponentially. As such, we should not be too surprised that so many road accidents are taking place. We also need to take remedial action urgently, since this is something that affects all of us.
Recent incidents have caused the public to focus their attention on the behavior of police officers. Newsfirst came across this footage, which is being circulated on Facebook and which depicts the manner in which a police officer acted in the case of a person involved in a motor accident. Newsfirst has obtained several pictures of incidents where VIP vehicles continue to indirectly affect and put unnecessary pressure on the general public.
This incident was reported this morning from Havelock Town, Colombo 5. Area residents claim that escort vehicles honked their horns to make way for their convoy of vehicles.
The change only lasted for about a month or two. Now there is no change. It's just like how it was before. Back then around 4 to 5 defenders escorted the ministers who were travelling. It is the same now. Ministers of the previous government used around 4 to 5 vehicles when travelling on the road. Now the new government uses the same amount or even more. We just want to travel freely on road.
In an inquiry made by Newsfirst, Police media spokesperson ASP Ruwan Gunasekara said that VIP vehicles have no special treatment. Gunasekara added that if reports of incidents which inconvenience the public are reported, severe legal action will be taken against such persons.
They tell us to travel on the left side of the road and they implement lane laws, but this does not apply to VIPs. They travel with the convoy of vehicles. We ask the government not to have separate treatment. The law should apply to these VIPs as well.
International sanctions against Iran have been lifted after the UN atomic watchdog announced the country had completed with the terms of last July's landmark deal aimed at scaling down its nuclear program. The International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, said that Tehran had put in place all nuclear measures required under the deal reached with 6 world powers.
Nuclear sanctions have been in place since 2006 on top of other sanctions stretching back decades.
Today, I released a report confirming that Iran has completed the necessary preparatory steps to start the implementation of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Relations between Iran and the IAEA now enter a new phase.
The United States formally lifted banking, steel, shipping and other sanctions on Iran, a major oil producer which has been virtually shut out of international markets for the past 5 years.
Iran has undertaken significant steps that many, and I do mean many, people doubted would ever come to pass. And that should be recognized, even though the full measure of this achievement can only be realized by assuring continued full compliance in the coming years.
The European Union also began the process of lifting sanctions, and Iran's transport minister said Tehran plans to buy 114 civil aircraft from European aircraft maker Airbus. How will the latest developments assist the subcontinent, in particular Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka has been importing crude oil from Iran during the past 2 decades. Due to sanctions that were imposed, Sri Lanka faced a difficult time as well. Of course, as the Minister of Petroleum, I should welcome the move by the US government to lift sanctions against Iran. We will be able to not only get a better price of crude oil, which is compatible to our refinery. I look forward to negotiate with the authorities and get the best deal for our country.
You're with News First, and up next is Action TV.
This coastal road, which runs parallel to the Puttalam-Chilau main road, spans a distance of about 80 kilometers. The road, which is essential for the fisheries industry and which had been neglected for several years, was repaired and renovated following the end of the war. The people of Udaipur are compelled to use this road to access the Colombo-Puttalam main road. When travelling about 50 kilometers on this road towards Puttalam, drivers are greeted with a nasty surprise as a 100-meter stretch of the road disappears into the estuary between the sea and the Puttalam lagoon. Whenever a block prevents the water from the lagoon from entering the sea, excavations are carried out at this location to allow the flow of water. All that is left when the water recedes is sandbars. The only option available to the residents of this shoreline is to use tractors to conquer the sandbars. At present, bus services running from Chilau to Puttalam and in the opposite direction terminate when the sandbars are within sight, causing the commuters to traverse the sandbars at their own risk. We are facing many difficulties. We will be immensely grateful if they build a bridge for us. The people of Udaipur, who are also facing a chronic drinking water shortage, must purchase pots of water for 15 rupees each at present. Incidentally, it is this sandbar that has caused the price of a pot of water to increase by 10 rupees. In the past, when the road was present, we sold it for 5 rupees each. Now, since we have to deploy a tractor and draw a wire as well, we charge more. Even when we charge 10 rupees extra, we are facing losses because of the costs. This will be mitigated if a bridge is built here. When considering the total sum of money spent on reconstructing the 80-kilometer long road, the failure to build a 100-meter long bridge denigrates the value of the project. Shouldn't urgent steps be taken to ensure that the people are reaping the benefits of the large sum of money spent on reconstructing this road? Chairman of the Road Development Authority, over to you.
Moving on to a story that made it to the headlines. Following an inspection carried out by Newsfirst, it was revealed that the fuel continues to leak into the Nilbala River. The report was filed by Newsfirst, Nuwan Chaturanga and cameraman Disnaka Nayanchan.
The oil substance started to leak into the Nilbala River yesterday from a filling station situated on the banks of the river.
We usually measure it each day. I realized today that there are about 12,500 litres missing.
While the process of supplying water to several areas, including Mathura, has been disrupted, a layer of oil could also be seen in wells close to the filling station.
There is diesel in the wells, and there is a possibility that there will be diesel in toilets and other drainage systems in the vicinity of this tank.
Measures are underway to control the situation with the intervention of officials of the Coast Conservation Department. The water supply, which had been halted to Mathura and areas surrounding it since yesterday, was restored this evening. What action will be taken with regard to the filling station that caused this issue?
We have informed them orally today, and we will inform them in writing to close this filling station temporarily.
This is footage captured this evening. The filling station which caused the incident is still operating as usual.
The 7th branch of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka was declared open in New Delhi this morning.
If you look at the whole country, about 42% of the country's income comes from the Western province. If you look at the Central province, it's only about 10%. We can double that easily in the next 5 years. And the key element there is to see that money starts flowing. So first of all, we have to address the basic things like the shortage of coins. Otherwise, all the tourists who come here will feel that we are a nation of cheats. But then the next step is to see that all these entrepreneurs get access to these loans at an affordable rate of interest. This country has a great future. We have just come out of 30 years of war, and now the future is boundless. But we have to plan for it. We can't just sit there and expect things to fall out of the sky.
In line with the event, a 100 million rupee loan was given to 100 persons and also 10 EPF checks were granted.
And now in sports news, the newly elected president of Sri Lanka cricket, Tilanga Sumatipala, revealed today that SLC owes the government more than 1.2 billion rupees.
The newly elected SLC Executive Committee conducted an inspection tour of the Pallekele International Stadium in Kandy today. We currently operate with a large debt of 1.2 billion. We are an organization with massive debt. Our financial strength is very weak. With regard to administration, the sports side, the financial strength, development and even sales, the cricket board is in a completely unsatisfactory position. Journalists also raised questions on action that will be taken in connection with allegations of match fixing. I can say responsibly that none of the players in the current team have been involved in match fixing, but we are obtaining testimonies from them regarding the netballer who was involved in match fixing and an individual who is still employed at SLC whose name has been mentioned. He is a fast bowling coach. I have called for a report on these two individuals tomorrow. After making inquiries, we may have to suspend them. We will take a decision on them following a special meeting to be held tomorrow.
And with that, we wrap up Weekend Primetime News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Do take care and good night.